Hello and welcome to the GX Podcast, the world's first podcast focused on government services and their future. In this podcast, we talk about everything related to government excellence, government service design and delivery, Auve Tech, and citizen engagement. Join us for insightful interviews and conversations every month. Visit us online at gx.ae.
Hi and welcome to the GX Forum at the World Government Summit 2022. I have with me Taavi Roivas, who's the ex-Prime Minister of Estonia, and he's here participating at the GX Forum. Taavi, welcome to the forum.
Thank you very much.
What are your thoughts on government services right now? What's going on?
Well, it is very different around the world, and I think there is a lot of room to learn from our best practices. I think what COVID has taught us everywhere globally is that remote is something that needs to be there, which also means that we need to have a proper digital identity, a proper way of having services across internet, so that it might not even be possible to visit civil servants, and even if it is possible, for many reasons, it's actually much more convenient for the citizens to do things online.
So Estonia has been a leader in e-residency, and one of the things that stands out, that you can work from anywhere. You can be part of kind of the Estonian platform, if you will, to conduct business. And here we are 2 years down the line from COVID, where the entire world literally has gone remote. What are your thoughts on the future of remote work as an example, and not just in the private sector, but also with governments?
Well, when we started e-residency in 2014, the main idea was not to introduce too many people to Estonia, which has happened and which is great, and this is very, very useful for Estonia because they have started businesses. But the main idea was actually to give the citizens of the world a glimpse of what can happen if all the services can be offered digitally, and in a way to ask them to demand the same from their government, so that we can actually have proper cross-border digital services all over the world. Now with COVID, what we learned was, of course, that working from home and working from distance, from your summer house, but also from different countries, has become not only a reality, but I would say almost a mainstream. So in a way, it's essential to have a means to interact with your government and also with your office digitally properly. I don't think that the world will trust handwritten signatures that are scanned for too long, because it's ridiculously unsafe. I think we need to start using digital signatures more, and we need to start using electronic tools more. And I have to say the private sector has been a very positive role model in this. They have been able to accommodate with COVID. They have been able to offer services online, and I'm sure that public service will follow. And there are some very positive examples, of course, as well.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the role of data. I mean, we know data is important. Many governments are focusing on collecting data, or in the private sector, responsible use of data, deriving insights. Do you think we are using as much data as we can, or what's stopping governments from doing that?
Well, we are definitely not using the data enough. I think we could decide a lot of things much more smart way if we actually analyze the data properly. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be linked to you or me personally. It can be just like a male Estonian at the age of 42 living in Tallinn. So anonymized data can be used also very, very effectively to take decisions. So I think that will actually be one of the underlying trends that will happen in the next years, that governments start using the data more meaningfully. And also let's keep in mind that usually if the government goes digital, it doesn't actually ask any more data from the citizen than the government that has the data piled in some sort of paper files. And just keeping it digitally helps us to have better control over it also for the citizens. The citizens themselves can, if necessary, supervise what has been done with the data, whereas if the data is somewhere in the archive on paper, nobody really knows who has looked at it and what they have been doing with it.
And like I said, the last couple of years have been an eye-opener for many entities, private sector, public sector, and I think we didn't even recognize in the broader world that there could be things that could be done remotely, right? There was this factor of fear that no, we cannot operate remotely. And then when people went remote, it was like, hey, we can actually do that. We'll survive.
Yes, and that will also mean that the world will become even smaller place. It will mean that you can live your summer in Estonia and winter here in Dubai.
Yeah.
You can work for a company that is actually in London or San Francisco. Okay, San Francisco time difference is somewhat difficult, but still, the distances of work and private life will change, and the format of work will change.
Yeah.
So I think that COVID just showed us, for this 2 years, what could happen, and this is just a glimpse of the future. I think this will become much more mainstream, because for office workers, more and more people start looking for living conditions, school for your kids, and workplace that don't need to be close to each other anymore. And you can find a combination that is actually increasing your life quality dramatically.
Yeah. One last question. What do you think is the next frontier for government service delivery? Is it the metaverse?
Well, good question. I think if we first get to properly digital services, that would already be a good thing. Metaverse will be something definitely for new generations, and I think it's a very good idea to actually ask our children what is their way of interactions with the government, and I'm pretty sure it will be different from ours. Even if we consider ourselves to be very digital, they will be next level, and the governments need to be ready for that next level, because they want to engage the younger citizens as well.
Incredible. Taavi, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the GX Forum, and I hope you have an amazing conversation and session.
Thank you very
later
much.
on. Thank you.